So the work of about 3 months has come down to a possible 2 days, give or take. 2 long days, by the way, at least for the Senate, who's debating newly introduced bills and amending old ones on the fly, on the floor. A couple of new bills being considered today, includes a new run at libraries. Just when library leaders were about to breathe a little easier with two of those bills being held in the House Education Committee and another stalled in the Senate, 2 others were freshly brought forth Friday and also at the discretion of the Senate today. At issue, once again, the fear that minors are having unfettered access to harmful materials at their local and school library. And once again, we hear from a library leader who knows all too well what it's like to be the center of unwanted and possibly unwarranted attention. Here's Joe Paris.
As lawmakers work to wind down the legislative session, 2 bills on the topic of content in libraries sit in waiting. Legislation aims to prevent minors from accessing harmful materials in school and community libraries. The topic is top of the marquee in Meridian, Idaho. For months, the community there has watched a battle over what's in the library and where it's placed. Senate Bills 1187 and 1188 would legislate that around the state with the collection of policies to protect minors from harmful materials.
We feel that to comply with the requirements of this policy, we would need to make some pretty significant operational changes.
Megan Larson is the trustee chair of the Meridian Library District Board. Policies laid out in the proposed legislation would vastly change how content is accessed and by who, she says.
There's many works of contemporary and classic literature, many nonfiction works that contain descriptions of sex. So to comply with the bill's requirements, we would need to rescind library cards that are issued to minors currently. We would need to prevent any minors from entering the library unless they were accompanied by a parent. We would need to discontinue our home delivery service. We would need to limit our outreach activities to only those locations where we don't expect minors to be, and possibly other changes to our policy.
Larson says library entities simply can't take on the financial risk of being subject to lawsuits and penalties. That reality sets another option for places like the Meridian Library.
The other option would be to just absolutely decimate the adult collection in the library and remove every work of literature, nonfiction work that contain descriptions of sex. Either way, we just think the impact on our community would be nothing short of devastating, and truly I'm just heartbroken.
The proposed legislation also sets up a citizen review committee to help the community deal with content questions. However, critics of the bill, they question the makeup of the committee, which includes one representative from the, quote, religious community.
A huge concern about a government entity such as a public library district selecting a member of the religious community and excluding many other religious communities. We don't see how that can be done without violating the Establishment Clause. We are a governmental entity, and for us to choose one religion over another it just does not seem like a thing that we can do acceptably.
Larson also draws attention to the proposal that says if a court finds any entity allowed minors to access harmful material, an Idaho court can order the seizure and destruction of that material.
I'm stunned that we would place law enforcement in the position of seizing and destroying materials from a public library. That's reminiscent of some pretty awful things in history, and I would not want to place our law enforcement, who's providing great service to this community, and in that position of being the people that would be required to do that. It's not a good look.
Larson tells me that the encouraging thing for her in the library district over the last week is the fact that they had a huge majority of the community show support at the hearing in Ada County over if the public library system in Meridian should be dissolved or not, and that is still up in the air if it'll be put on the ballot, so we'll update you as that happens. Did want to mention that we're expecting to hear from Senator Chuck Winder, who is the authors and has really been talking a lot about the legislation 1187, 1188. However, he was wrapped up in the Idaho Senate today, and Brian will touch more on that in just a minute.